Hey, welcome to the Keys Lab. We're here at Icon Collective in LA, California. We're in the keyboard lab, so we have tons of keyboards, and they're all set up so that students can kind of get their reps in, playing keys. They'll basically put their laptop up here, play through these keyboards and the sustain pedals, and kind of get through their assignments each week. My name is Chase Jackson. I'm the Associate Director of the Vocal Arts Program and also do a lot of curriculum development, overseeing the music theory curriculum and the keys program as well. The current iteration is definitely relying on MIDI quite a bit. Basically, we were having this issue where in the keyboard skills theory classes, they were basically joined into one class. It was taking a ton of time, like valuable in-class time for the students to go up and play and instructors to give them feedback. And you find a lot of students be like, oh man, here's 30 minutes and I'm still waiting for so-and-so to get through his scales. We know that, in order to become good at an instrument, you have to just do it a lot. You gotta put in reps and you have to there needs to be some sort of structure. And so trying to scale private piano lessons can only go so far. And so for us, MIDI was a really great opportunity because it allowed us to kind of build out quarter by quarter and actually week by week exercises that build in review and also apply the theory concepts that they're learning as producers to actually playing it on the keyboard. I do feel like that MIDI is a great tool because at least with the curriculum it's super flexible. It could be as basic as learning arpeggios and scales and kind of technical things, but also going really advanced in terms of harmony theory, seeing the chord symbols, seeing the fingerings, all the other kind of things that go into playing the piano. So there's obviously something great about working one-on-one with somebody. It's a great practice tool, and it can only benefit someone from getting that kind of structured practice in. Honestly, I wish I had it when I was learning keys because I hated piano when I was a kid, and it's still something that I'm still working on, and I think that is a really cool tool. It's actually been super helpful because sometimes you have students who are crushing through and they get the entire quarter in a week, and then so that gives us that sense of oh, maybe our assignments are a little too easy. But also we can see on the other side certain students that might be struggling, that might be taking longer, or just specific examples or specific songs that might be a little bit more difficult. So that allows us to adjust the tempo, maybe put it into a different key, maybe even nudge stuff and put it into a different week, or maybe it's something we want to bring back and put into a review type of assignment. So the analytics have been super helpful. It kind of helps us keep track of who's behind, who's crushing through ahead, and it's just been a really powerful tool. With going remote with COVID, we were trying to figure out how to run a class like this groove theory class, which is all about percussion, all about learning different styles of grooves from all over the world. And normally that class is all based around a drum circle type thing. So we're what do we already have that we could use to kind of build off of? And so immediately I thought of MIDI because it has the playing aspect. So we were able to implement a lot of backing tracks. So we had the designer of the curriculum, the groove theory class, Kristen, recorded all these Afro-Cuban and West African drum loops, and now we have students playing those actual samples on the keyboard. Sure, it's not necessarily the same as playing in the actual room, but it's a great way for them to get additional practice, kind of get familiar in their body of actually playing. So there's been a whole bunch of different things where I've asked for something, and then very shortly afterwards, MIDI is able to adapt in a really great way, which has been sweet. So. Another huge plus about MIDI that I think we'd like to move forward and continue to do some more of is creating backing tracks, custom backing tracks. So you're actually playing with music. I think playing along with the metronome is super important. That's a great skill. But often when you're playing, you're playing chord progressions or you're playing melodies, you want to be able to actually play with a sense of groove or have a sense of how it all fits in with everything else. Playing along with a rock drummer or guitar and bass. But something I think we're going to try to do moving forward is also include backing tracks to go along with when you're playing melodies to popular songs or chord progressions to songs you might recognize, because that makes it that much more real and more appropriate to actually playing music. Keys is a huge component of how we introduce music theory concepts, how we're analyzing songs and songwriting, ties into ear training. I feel pretty strongly that keys is the easiest way to understand theory and harmony. Sure, you could understand it on guitar or just by ear, but it's very abstract in that way. And so the keyboard is kind of this perfect instrument that allows us to do a lot of things in terms of understanding harmony, understanding theory, and being able to apply it to our own kind of music. Whether you're analyzing and breaking stuff down, or you're actually writing new pieces. But there's something so much more direct about actually playing something than pointing and clicking and dragging. So I like to tell my students that no matter what style of music you're making, no matter what genre, no matter sounds and grooves can go in sort of styles or fads, but harmony and melody is not going anywhere. No matter what style you're playing, the keyboard is going to be a tool that you want to keep with you no matter what.